We're Friends with Benefits. Right by Re-Rotacy. Chapter 3. The Kids. The PTA meeting starts at 10 a.m. sharp. Hal is worried that he may have gathered a little too much attention, but, fortunately, no one seems to care. That's odd. Besides that, Duke's struggling to decide between a defense attorney and a baker. Both sound fine to Hal. Honestly, just go with a defense attorney first. If you ever want to switch to baker, it's much easier, Hal says, as he walks side by side with Duke. And if you want to do another thing, it's alright too. I used to be a door-to-door salesman, you know. It was fun. There was no stress, and the kids were always happy to see me around. But it always got boring fast. I don't know why, but you being a salesman just sounds like a bad timeline. Duke answers as they walk side by side out of his teacher's office. The study hall is not really crowded, but full of students and their parents, just like Duke and Hal. Honestly, Duke's grateful Hal had been sensible and understanding about it. Many parents would just blindly push their kid towards the honorable career with money instead of listening to their kid first. Yeah, the husbands were very hostile to me. Hal scoffs as he nods and says hello to other staff members of the school. He has come here a little too many times recently, it seems. I guess maybe I was too hot for their wives to handle. And who knows, maybe the husbands too. Well, Duke winces his eyes in disgust. Not serious disgust, but the teenager towards their parents kind of disgust. It's not untrue. He struggles to admit that Hal is indeed incredibly attractive. The kind that turns head everywhere he goes, no matter what. Hell, Hal even pulls aliens who have completely different beauty standards from humans. But seriously, that sounds disgusting. Stop saying you're hot. Ugh. Hey, it's just facts, kiddo. Hal laughs as he notices some teachers look his way with blushes on their cheeks, and he shoots them a wink. A single wink makes a young student passing by hit his head against the wall. Oh no, not the students. Hal coughs and drags Duke to walk faster. It's not my fault I was born this way. Lady Gaga, right? Ugh, you're like even more embarrassing than Bruce. The young boy rolls his eyes with the most disgusted expression he can make. And genuinely embarrassing, not fake embarrassing. Is that you, Duke? A group of cheerleaders, both male and female, suddenly approach the two, agitatedly. The girl who is standing at the front nervously says, "Oh my god, hi, Duke." "Hi, Mr. Jordan." The young girl's voice turns eerily sweet and seductive when she calls Hal's last name. Duke sighs. He knows what this is about. But Hal doesn't. Of course, as the parent, scratch that, as the temporary babysitter, Hal has to express some gratitude towards his kids' friends. Also, the group seems to consist of popular kids only. It'll be good if Duke gets out to enjoy his youth more, instead of getting stuck with vigilante work too much. Hal says, "Hey, little lady, are you Duke's friends? Can't believe the kid's friends with the popular kids, huh?" The term little lady makes the blush on the student's face deepen. Duke shoots Hal a hateful look. Lucky for Hal, Duke already knows his Western sunshine and sweet words kind of behavior. If a Gothamite talks like that to a teenage girl, Duke would have already floored the fucker. "No, I've never," Duke tries to say, but gets cut off. "We're in the same math class. Duke is very smart, sir," the girl says, with stars in her eyes, as she looks at Hal, and Hal only. Behind her, the other kids are also looking at Hal, and not the main topic of conversation, Duke Thomas himself. "Do you, teach him at home? Is that why he's so smart?" "I do, a little, actually. I know I don't look like it, but when I was in high school, I was a straight-A student, you know? Valedictorian and all." Hal snickers. "It's a little rusty now, but I'm glad it's enough for the little smarty pants over here." Hal rubs Duke's head as the kid struggles to evade his hand at all costs. No, you look very smart, sir. I can tell. You're so cool." All the girls start to laugh simultaneously, and Duke wants to puke on the spot. There's not even a single joke in Hal's sentence. Why are they even laughing? Can you, teach us too? A group study or something? Oh, really? I'm a bit busy, but I guess it's doable. Seriously, Hal, just go. I'm hungry. Duke pushes Hal away to get out of the situation as quickly as he can. A second more watching those cheerleaders flirt with his dad, and Duke promises he won't be going to school ever again. This is why he hates PTA meetings, or anything that requires parents to attend. Bruce alone is bad enough, but at least the Gothamites have developed some kind of resistance towards him. And Duke knows the Brucey persona is just a facade. But goddammit, Hal is so dumb. He's the perfect kind of dumb brunette, perfectly tan, likes to smile, has dimples, smells like coconut and jasmine, a little bit of an airhead, a little bit of a nerd, and the fucking lame jokes. All of that is just too much. Too much. That's weaponized attractiveness. Maybe Duke's being a little harsh on him, but it's deserved, okay? It's like looking at a sexy bombshell buying carrots at the supermarket in bright pink platform heels. Hal sticks out like a sore thumb in Gotham. And in a school, especially in a high school where the teenagers are in heat left and right, wishing for a scandalous love story with an older man. Duke's the victim in this. Oh, okay. I didn't know you were this hungry. Hal doesn't understand why Duke suddenly acts so viciously, but he goes with it anyway. Must be the teenage hormones. On the way home, Hal buys Duke some shawarma. With Bruce's money, of course. He says, "You're a growing boy, Duke. Eat some meat." To which Duke answers, "If you ever have to drop by my school again, wear a face mask, and don't make any jokes. Like, ever. Please. I beg. In fact, don't even open your mouth. Please." Hal is a bit sad. He doesn't know why Duke hates to see him appearing at his school so much. The kid is usually really sweet, though. But then again, teenagers. What can he do about it? Talk to Bruce? No, he should only involve the dad when it's serious. Like if Duke ever hits his classmate. Which is very likely if anyone from the school asks if Hal and Bruce are happily married. Or just married. Again. Maybe Hal should try some baking and slowly make the boy open his heart over some baking sessions. Perhaps he should invite Billy over. The kid likes free baked goods. Hal doesn't even know he's acting like a typical homemaker. Wait, why is no one reacting to Hal's scandalous tabloids again? Wait, did you see the news this morning? Oh, a kissing photo? Duke says as he calmly eats his shawarma. What about it? Your Aunt Carol scolded me so hard this morning. I thought it was a big deal or something, but... Hal looks around again to make sure that, except for the usual glances he gets everywhere he goes, no one really takes a picture of him, and all like the paparazzi usually does with scandals involving Bruce. Everyone in Gotham is acting too normal. Duke slowly raises his eyes, and he sighs. No one in Gotham cares that you and Bruce kiss. You guys kiss all the time outside. It's an eyesore. We do not kiss all the time outside. Come on now. Hal lies with a cough. They do actually kiss all the time outside. But this is the first time it had actually become a big deal. But Carol was furious about it. I thought I was going to be skinned alive. Then I told her that Bruce kisses a dozen models a week. Why would one man be any different? Duke, again, acts like the teenager he is, unfairly mean to their parents, and answers, "Did you actually read the title of the news?" "No, why? What's about it?" Hal tilts his head. "I thought it was just the typical thing. You know, your father, another love fling and such." I knew it. Duke takes a big sigh. "Let me finish my shawarma first." And Duke, as a typical busy bat, inhales his shawarma in exactly 5 seconds before letting out a burp and says, "All right." Hal gives Duke a wet napkin to wipe his hands before he pulls out his phone. The title of it was, "Is the Playboy of Gotham finally ready to settle down?" Huh? That's... Wait, how is that special again? Hal is genuinely confused. It's not like there aren't a gazillion trash articles about Bruce like this every year. Hal realizes there's still sauce on Duke's face as he helps the kid wipe it off. Duke just lets it happen. "Look at the picture." Duke clicks his tongue as he shakes his head and points at the tiny, shiny dot in the picture. Bruce had a ring on. Oh, right, the rings! Hal looks like he had just received a message from God. I completely forgot about the rings. He then looks down too. You guessed it, the silver band on his ring finger. No, these are not wedding rings. Bruce gave me these, 2 weeks ago? I guess it's what are the words? Friendship bracelets for adults. Friends with benefits bracelets. Of course they are. Duke gives him a, yeah, right, like I would believe it, kind of look. But seriously, they are not wedding rings. They're promise rings. That's why they don't have gemstones on, or whatever the bat said. What promise? Hal forgot to ask. They were soaking in warm water after some adult activities, and Bruce just slipped the ring on his finger while he kissed Hal from head to toe. Seriously, can you blame Hal on this? His workplace requires everyone to wear rings. He is now too dull to the human, romantic meanings behind those things. Besides, compared to the power rings, their silver rings are lighter, smaller, and certainly will not accidentally destroy a planet if he's not careful. So, naturally, Hal just completely forgets they exist. No, seriously, I always have to wear rings when I work. I don't really notice any difference. It's true, Hal just forgets about the rings. Honestly, maybe that's why Carol didn't notice too. In that sense, they're soulmates. Uh-huh. Duke nods, with utter nonchalant belief. It's that, how can you be so dense? Reaction again. Seriously, it's technically very understandable if people just try to understand Hal's perspective a little bit more. And you put them on every morning? Willingly? And you never forget a single day. Bruce usually puts them on for me when we brush our teeth and... Yeah, stop. Stop. That's, A-level sappy cringe. Ugh. Duke groans as he hits his head on the metal table. Now, I cannot erase that image from my mind. I'm going to bleach my ears. Stop that, it's dirty. Hal carefully holds the kid's head, mid-air, wipes the table, and then proceeds to let Duke hit his head against the cold, hard surface again. You know how kids are. If you can't stop them, make sure that at least they don't get dirty. I can't believe you wear those rings every day and think that they're, not sus. Duke clicks his tongue. They're rings. They're silver rings, Hal. Well then, I'll go to tonight's press conference and clear the whole misunderstanding up. Hal calmly states, as he calls the waiter over to pay for the shawarma, and everything will go back to normal before Bruce gets back. Okay? Also, pack 2 more shawarma for me, please. It won't be that easy. No way in hell. Duke disassociates, as he thinks about how Hal will try to convince the vultures that 2 silver rings are just 2 adults' friendship bracelets. Brighten up, kid. Hal shrugs as he receives the takeaway shawarma under the waiter's curious eyes. He still hasn't taken the rings off. Nothing you can do without some will. And who am I if not a man of pure will, huh? Oh god, this stupid man will be eaten alive, Duke thinks. The 2 shawarma are for Titus and Steph, who happened to drop by today. She has been pestering Hal nonstop since this morning about being too broke to order some food, so Hal has to get her one. Hal knows she's not broke, nor hungry. She just wants some street food instead of the homemade healthy food Alfred always prepares for the family at home. Teenagers being ungrateful is a constant in the universe. Instantly after Hal arrives at the front door, he can hear Titus running towards him, and a certain blonde doing 45 parkour moves to appear out of nowhere on the front stairs, with 2 arms raised, awaiting the shawarma. So, are you going public? Tonight? Tonight. She straight up says, as Hal throws the shawarma at her like a baseball. Why not wait until B's back? Of course, she can catch it. Hal doesn't understand why, but Steph seems unusually keen on games of catch. Tim already arranged it. I have no say in this. Hal sighs, as he pats Titus the dog's back to make sure he does not choke on the food. Look, I identified the problem, alright? It's the rings Bruce gave me 2 weeks ago. It's no big deal. I'll just go to the conference and explain that it's just decorative. There's absolutely no further meaning behind the rings. There's not? Steph tilts her head as she, like a one true bat kid, inhales the shawarma in under 5 seconds. What the? I thought you guys were official. You have been wearing those for 2 weeks. Duke walks past Steph to get into the house. Bruce puts the rings on him every morning. Don't ask how I know that. Telling me that counts as assault, Duke. What the fuck? Steph barks. Ew! No cursing in the house. Hal scolds. I'm not technically in the house. Steph points at the open wooden door behind her. You're still inside the gates, young lady. It still counts. Hal walks past Steph and drags her back into the house by the collar. $5 in the no-swear jar. That's unfair. Tim curses all the time. Steph argues. He's smart enough not to get caught. So either A, don't swear, or B, don't get caught by me. Hal uses his ring to bring the no-swear jar from the dining room, where most of the cursing happens, to the girl's face. Now, pay up, kid. Hal, this is jobless behavior. Steph pouts, but she still puts $5 into the jar. What's the jar for? Hal doesn't even remember. Honestly, since technically they are all billionaires here, what's the point in saving $5 at a time? You know I'm employed, Steph. I'm the most employed person here. Elite employee status, even. It's true. Every time he tries to quit the Corps, everyone just explodes and dies. Somehow. I died and got revived by God to do more work. Apparently. Not you, a grown man, by the way, flexing on a minor. Steph puts out her tongue. Very funny. But watch it, kid. Too funny and no allowance this weekend. Okay? He scoffs. Also, remember to wash your hands before touching the keyboards of anything in the house. Damien complained to me about the grease on the computer the last time you were here. Hal pats the blonde girl's head before walking upstairs. Is Cass home? Cass went out to play with Barb earlier. Either on the moon or Gordon's. I don't know. Steph answered. Guess I have to tell Jimmy not to feed her too much food. Hal nods, appreciating the teenage girl's cooperation. We're getting bat burgers tonight. We are? Duke walks out of the kitchen with a stash of warm bread in his arms, and asks with excitement in his voice. Hal guesses the growth spurt's about to hit him like a truck. He'd better tell Alfred about it later to call some tailors. Yes, Tim asked. After I'm done with the press conference, of course. Hal casually walks back to his room. Not exactly his, but Bruce's. But, most of his stuff is in Bruce's room anyway, so he may as well call it as such. I'm taking a nap in my room to get some rest before the event, okay? Only call me if someone's dying. Or when Cass comes home. Tell her there are coconuts in the fridge. If any of you want them, you can, but only 1 per person max, okay? Cass has been having some acne breakouts lately, and Hal heard from Carol that fresh coconut water does wonders for your skin, so he got her some from Hawaii on the way back from Coast City. Raising teenagers could count as a proper job. He thinks he uses more brain cells to cater to the kids than his own job. He suddenly misses Helen. She's such a sweet kid. He hopes she never grows up. She will break his heart so badly when she's a teenager. But that can wait. He needs his midday nap. I'm pretty sure that's a mom nap, Steph concludes from the living room, as she looks up to Hal's back, disappearing in the deep hallways of the manor. Why? Have you ever thought otherwise? Duke snorts. Hal wakes up at exactly 3:23 p.m., with Cass standing silently over his head like an owl watching him sleep. Hi, Hal. Hey, Cass. Have you drunk your coconut water yet? Hal isn't even surprised at this point. Yes, it's bad enough that all the bats walk around with no sound whatsoever. They also like watching people sleep. Blame Batman. Cass's face instantly beams when Hal wakes up, and she does a backflip straight onto the bed. The bed barely even shifts. Hal thinks this family's superpower is defying the laws of physics. Cass says, in her dramatic ballet pose, that she likes doing in front of him for no reason. Yes, thanks, Hal. Ready for spa day? Hal pushes himself up with his elbow and shoots the teenage girl a smirk. Cass nods and smiles brightly as she ushers Hal to get off the bed faster. All right, I'm getting up. Call Steph first, Twinkle Toes. Ah, yes, spa day. The thing Hal used to think he would never, ever get in his lifetime. Back in the day, Hal was the one in the chair outside the spa salon, waiting for Carol with other dudes if he was lucky. But here he is, currently, putting on a silk robe and cotton slippers to prepare himself for a spa day with teenage girls. In Hal's defense, he's doing it for the press conference later. It's a part of his babysitter's duties at this point. And a Green Lantern doesn't turn away from his duties. Soon, he walks down the stairs to see 2 teenage girls already in their silk robes waiting for him, with a dozen people lining up beside them, all friendly and helpful. Al guesses he does enjoy using Bruce's money. Just a little bit. As per usual, Cass is happy and silent, while Steph is sassy and nosy. The perfect mix of white noise for a relaxing day with people clipping Hal's nails. Ew, why are your nails kind of crooked? Steph judges him loudly, but Hal just shrugs. I used to fix planes all the time, Steph. Keeping nails clean and pretty is not really my thing. Hal straightens his hands for the nail tech to handle them more easily. They used to be much worse, trust me. Did you dig dirt for a living? Steph asks. You can say I used to dig graves for a living. Hal starts to laugh maniacally, and Steph just groans in frustration again, against the lame dad jokes that only she and Cass can fully understand in the room. Sometimes everyone kind of forgets that Hal was sort of a Reaper entity for a while. Hal doesn't even tell the kids the full story. He just casually mentions it sometimes when someone makes a "I want to die" joke. To which he replies, I will kill you myself and raise you from the dead to finish that essay if I must. Even Batman suffers from it sometimes, when he's too stubborn to rest, despite having grave injuries. It seems the being dragged back from hell by Hal thing is extra effective on him, even. Bruce's are clean. He fixes bikes and cars. Cass cautiously says, Oh, true. He clips his nails every few days. Normally he clips my nails too. I guess he likes to be precise with his stuff. Is that really the only reason? Steph snorts. Is there any other reason? Hal confusedly asked. Steph shoots him a dirty look. Oh, Stephanie Brown! Hal blushes profusely. Not that he's innocent, but more that he cannot handle hearing dirty jokes from his teenage girls. Just yet. It takes Cass a few more seconds to understand the vulgar joke, but when it gets there, it gets there. Not you too, Cass. Hal is hurt on so many emotional levels. The day then goes on as normal. Hal takes a relaxing bath with flowers in them, some massage to straighten his back, and a personal hairdresser to make sure he looks presentable for the press conference. When he's busy picking out a tie, actually, Cass and Steph are the ones doing the picking, he just stands there like a Ken doll. Tim finally makes it home, in his gray shirt, dark pants, and bright red tie. The teenager seems to be hungry. And a little dirty. How's work, Timmy? Hal asks as Tim passes by him to get to the nearest food source in the house. Knowing the teen's yearning for snacks, Hal pulls a granola bar out of his pocket and throws it like throwing bones to a starving dog. The comparison sounds funny, but it's true considering how all the Bat Kids have developed a talent for inhaling food. Or, according to Bruce, eating efficiently. It's alright. Carol's terms and conditions were good. Tim nods as he stuffs the protein bar down his throat. She asked if you wanted to become Bruce's exclusive plaything. What? Hal almost breaks his neck looking at Tim. As in, W.E.'s special test pilot. It's like an NBA transfer, but for pilots. Tim shrugs. Hal thinks he may have picked up the shrugging habit from this specific teenager. Steph and Cass giggle. Are all teenagers this vulgar? This generation's doomed. Hal looks up at the ceiling and sighs. You should be glad there are no teen pregnancies yet in this house. Be careful. Steph shrugs, and Cass nods next to her. Yes, glad, certainly. Hal steps off the fitting stool to walk towards Tim. About the press conference later. Oh, yeah, I already sent you the script via email. Did you read it yet? Tim replies. Hal freezes. The two girls silently glance at each other. The answer is clear. Seriously? Tim gives Hal a disappointed look. Not the kind from a child to a parent, but rather from a boss towards a forgetful intern. I put your phone next to your bed. I charged it for you. And that phone part is a child towards their parent. It's not a secret how Hal is terrible with phones. Not electronics, not machines. He's great at fixing state-of-the-art means of destruction. Can 3D render those things at will, just with phones. He forgets them all the time, and even though he has one, he barely uses it at all. The only reliable communication he has on his body is the leak's communicator. Other than that thing, you'd have a better chance of contacting him by looking up into the sky and chanting Green Lantern 3 times, or just straight up dying tragically and contacting him via spiritual communication. Fine, my bad. Sorry, I forgot. Hal does not even try to defend himself. It's fine, Tim says with the experience of one who goes through 50 media crises per year. Just say that you and Bruce are in a private but not secret relationship, and it's a healthy and stable one. As long as you don't feed those vultures more drama, the commotion will die faster than Jason against a crowbar. First of all, Jason did nothing wrong. Second of all, I can explain myself just fine. I already knew what went wrong. Hal proudly puts his hand up to show Tim the silver band on his ring finger. They mistook this for a wedding ring. It's not. I just need to explain it's just a decoration. Tim pauses for some seconds to process what Hal has been saying. Horror dawns on his face. He then turns to Steph and Cass. The two girls nod slowly, admitting the one true fact of the room that no one has said out loud yet. Batman is tricking his ass into marriage, and he doesn't even do it subtly or strategically. And to fall for Bruce's crude tactics like this, Hal must be dumb as hell. Hal's so dumb that everyone actually realizes how Bruce fell for him in the first place. Bruce doesn't need to use his brain to scheme against this dumb Ken doll. Then again, it's partially Bruce's fault. Or it's actually Batman's scheme from the beginning. That the greatest Green Lantern to ever live has learned to turn off his brain whenever they're together. Maybe it's a contingency plan. Maybe the Bat has realized brute force would never work against the Emerald Knight, who can will himself to be immortal and undefeatable. So the Dark Knight has decided to trap him in an emotional prison called marriage instead. What is the phrase? Give a man a fish and he'll live for a day, but teach a man to fish and he'll fish for himself? In this case, Bruce may be trying to take the blood-stained fishing pole out of Hal's hands and let the beast of will depend on him like a white lily fat cat who only eats tuna. It sounds too crazy, but it may actually be true. But who knows? Certainly not the children of this family. They're just here for the vibes and free meals. They will eat you alive and spit your bones out, Tim says. Duke said the same thing. Well, we both speak the truth. If you don't want to appear on America's Top 10 Dumb Brunettes list next year, then read over the script first, Hal. Tim says, but he just knows Hal won't listen to him. It's like how we tell our mothers to take notes of their Facebook password, but they never do. They just expect us to know all their passwords all the time. I'm taking a shower. The car leaves at 10 o'clock sharp. I think Clark will be there, so you'd better think about what to say to your buddy. Fuck. Hal exhales. Swear jar. Steph excitedly yells. Cass giggles sweetly as she sips her coconut water. Make it 10. I fucking hate Clark, the journalist. Hal pulls out a tin to stuff in the swear jar on the side. It's halfway full. Hal suspects it will be filled to the brim soon at this rate. Crap. He still hasn't decided what the money will be for. What's with everyone anyway? He has said their relationship was just friends with benefits so many times. Why won't anyone listen? What's so hard to understand? Bruce and he are colleagues. They are adults, and they are single. It's totally normal to sleep with your single coworker with no strings attached. Sir, which would you like to use for the night? The stylist, already used to the shenanigans inside the House of W, sweetly says as she presents him with numerous cufflinks to wear on his dress shirt, all placed in little fancy wooden boxes on the table. Hal carefully eyes each of them and asks, I haven't seen those before. Are they new? He points to a set on the right. The round green buttons that shine bright under the soft gold color of the chandelier. Yes, Mr. Wayne has commissioned them a while ago. The stylist brings the box closer to Hal's eyes. The sparkles on the stone are bright to the point of an eyesore. They smell of extreme luxury. Made from pure lab-grown emeralds. Mr. Wayne said the color reminded him of you. Really? He picks one up and tilts it around a bit. He sees a small carving right under the cuffs. HJ? I told him not to carve my initials into things again. Though, I guess, Hal recalls a certain ex of Bruce who likes stealing things. Maybe he just does that so she knows not to steal Hal's things. Gotham rogues shouldn't involve themselves with cosmic cores, after all. With how Gotham is, writing your name on stuff for proof of ownership is not an excessive thing to do. You are correct, sir. The stylist's smile spreads to her ears. So I presume you will be using these cufflinks for the night, sir? Sure. Hal nods. Spooky already commissioned them for me. May as well use them. And about the tie. Do you have one in mind? The stylist asks, but she has already chosen one or two for him. She knows Hal does not care enough, or knows how many ties he even has. That's her job. To pair with the new emerald cufflinks, I suggest you use a tie with a dark color. Dark green, perhaps? Or would you like something brighter? Your call, smart lady. You're the expert, not me. Hal shoots her a flirtatious grin. They both know it means nothing. The stylist already knows Hal's reputation, the flirty eye candy from the West Coast. But wait. Yes, Mr. Jordan? Do you remember the dark tie with the yellow tipping Bruce likes to use? Yes, Hal knows the anatomy of a tie now, thanks to Bruce. The stylist's smile, somehow, gets even brighter. Of course I do, Mr. Jordan. I like it. Can you get it for me? When Hal didn't have many clothes in the manor, he always just picked something from Bruce's closet to wear, since they have similar builds, almost the height and all. Bruce is just a little buffer than him. Now, Hal has enough clothes in the manor for him to last 4 seasons without wearing the same thing twice. But he still cannot get rid of the habit of stealing Bruce's stuff for some reason. Especially the t-shirts. It has Mr. Wayne's initials sewn into it, sir. Are you okay with that? The stylist sweetly asks, after telling her assistant to get the tie. What's wrong with that? Hal confusedly asks. What do Bruce's initials have to do with anything? He likes the tie. He wears it. Whatever Bruce owns is his to wear and use anyway. You know he likes me wearing his clothes. It's true. It's gotten to the point of Hal wearing Bruce's t-shirt, and nothing else, walking around the Batcave, has become a silent invitation for some good time in their bedroom. Of course, there's nothing wrong, sir, the stylist says, and the two girls silently eye each other. A silent conversation is had. Steph rolls her eyes, and Cass points her index finger at her head, twirling it around. Cass silently reports the conversation to Jason, who's stuck in sinking sand in the jungle, somewhere, on a wholly different continent, and amidst all the lethal bullets, fire, and knives, the 22-year-old has to text back, Is he seriously that dumb? Or is it just their kink? No one knows, but the stylist has just casually pulled out her phone to change Hal's name from Mr. Jordan to Mrs. Wayne, right after giving Hal the tie. Notes. Do you guys know I wrote Hal offing every single one of them in another fic of mine? This is me trying to recover from that. This is my therapy. If you also read the other fic, if you do, you're my fave reader. You can see this as Hal and Bruce's happy marriage before a Hal going insane incident. Next chapter. The actual colleagues. Clark cannot let Hal taint the Justice League co-workers' relationship reputation any longer. There are heroes fighting for justice, not a desperate singles orgy club. We do not I'd usually try and do voices. I simply cannot do voices this time. The stylist smiles, spreading her ears. What? Huh? Oh, the stylist's smile spreads to her ears. That makes so much more sense.